Hey guys, this is Hot Chocolate all over the world. So glad to be in your world this afternoon. As always, we're so excited to motivate you in your greatness. How about that? You know what? You need to check me out on Facebook. On Facebook, I'm Melody Sheree. That's Melodysherra. How about that? I say Melody, then Sherra. Yeah, check me out and we can continue to grow in our greatness together even by way of Facebook. I get so excited about the fact that I get to help you go to your next level. I get to help you to discover why God created you, because you know He had a purpose, He had a plan. In fact, He had an action plan with your name written on it, and it's still here. The reason I know it's still in motion, you're still alive. So I'm so glad to be Hot Chocolate in your world and glad that you're about to share our world. And we're going to tell a story today. We're going to tell a story about a young entrepreneur who didn't wake up one day knowing that this is what God had for her, but as she began to progress in life, go through a few struggles, she understood God had called her to something greater than herself, something that would impact a whole lot of people in a whole lot of situations. So I'm so excited to have Miss Janice Williams with us today, Caregivers Respite. Not only is today's show going to inspire you, of course it's going to do that, but today's show is also going to be informative for many of you who've been searching for a way, an outlet in caring for other people. How do I care for myself, or how do I more effectively care for the next person? And how do I have a spot to just exhale? This show is for you. I'm so excited. So thank you for tuning in to Hot Chocolate all over the. I am so super excited to introduce our guest today, Miss Janice Williams. Janice, we are so excited to have you.
Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Let me tell you why I'm excited. Because I didn't just meet you today. I've watched your life, I've followed your life, been a part of your life for a long time, and I've seen you go from where you were to where you are, and you're walking in a manifested vision.
Yes.
How about that?
That's exciting.
It's exciting. A good word. It is exciting.
Yes.
And I think, so many people need your story because a lot of people are stuck right now. A lot of people have a vision. They don't know how to move forward with it. A lot of people stop because of so many obstacles. But you're the poster child for what it looks like to keep going.
Awesome.
Yeah. And you have kept going. Before I give you a moment, I'm going to give you time to talk. But you've kept going without a big support system. And a lot of people fall into that category. And they've not known where to go. Well, you are, you're in the right place at the right time, if that's your story. So Janice, tell us about your vision. What's the name of it?
It's called Caregivers Respite.
Caregivers Respite.
Yes.
Explain that to us.
Well, Caregivers Respite is a nonprofit organization for family caregivers.
Okay, a nonprofit organization for family caregivers.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And I
That's
specify.
a lot of people. Yeah.
I specify family caregivers
Family.
because these are the people who take care of their sick family member or loved one and don't get paid.
Oh, can we just pause right there? Pause for the cause. There are a lot of people watching us today who are family members who care for their loved ones and don't get paid. So you're kind of that person who comes to their rescue.
Wow.
Yeah, you really are.
Wow.
You're that person.
I
So
never
tell
thought
us
about
how
that.
you rescue people through Caregivers Respite.
For number one, I really never thought about it as a rescue,
Yeah,
but it makes so much sense.
yeah.
In the sense that the reason I started it is because my father got ill,
Okay.
and he went through so many levels of care.
Okay,
And
so you needed rescuing.
yes,
I'm the one that needed rescuing. Okay, because we're going to get to
Wow.
how it started in just a moment. But I want to know some of the things that you do, and then we're going to rewind the tape to how you got there.
okay.
So how can you rescue a family member
Well-
caring for someone else?
The organization, we do a support group meeting every
Support
month.
group? Wow.
We do listening sessions
Explain a listening session.
A listening session is, you know how you hear about listening sessions for new music?
Yes.
But a listening session for family caregivers is something that we invite professional people to come in and talk about what they do for a family caregiver, but also it's a way for them to listen.
Wow.
A lot of times organizations or businesses come in with a thought of, this is how I'm going to talk to them.
Yeah.
But when they really turn it around and listen to the needs of the audience, they get a different perspective, because family caregiving affects your whole life.
It really does. So you have monthly meetings,
Yes.
listening sessions,
Right.
and I love that concept because I'm sure that's part of your vision, being the founder and the director
Yes,
of
ma'am.
Caregivers Respite. And tell us what else you help to do for us.
Well, we do a conference every year. It's
I
called
love
the
that.
Caregivers Rest Conference.
Oh,
And that's
I love
where we
that.
take care of the caregiver.
Okay.
And we also have a walk. We did, last year we did a walk, and it was to raise awareness of family caregiving.
Yes.
And also to start a mini grant for respite for family caregivers.
I love it. You know, this is such a unique idea, so needed. And we're about to talk about the need that you had that brought you to this, but I love the vision because sometimes things can be right in our faces, the
Yes.
need, and no one addresses it. But you were able to, I'm sure, hear from heaven, yeah, and connected with your own heart and passion and what God had called you to do and create such a vision. I want, on behalf of every family, before you even go into it, every family
Wow.
member, I'm an only child, so this is kind of precious to me.
Yes.
Yeah, my mother is 75 now, and to know that there is help, there is a rescue squad for family members who rescue other people, because really, who help other people who need rescuing themselves. Because I always hear that sometimes the caregiver ends up sick caring for the family member.
Yes. In fact, it's a statistic out there that if you take care of someone with dementia,
Mm-hmm.
just taking care of them will affect your health even 10 years after you finish taking care of them.
Wow.
And so it's really serious.
Yes.
Most of the things we do, in fact, everything we do is centered around giving a caregiver a break, which is respite.
Yeah, we love that. We love that. Is that what the word respite means?
Respite means a break,
A
a period
break.
of delay.
Wow.
And it's where we try to encourage caregivers to get that break,
Mm-hmm.
get that period of delay so they can come back stronger and face what they face.
That's
You know,
awesome.
often I tell family caregivers, we can't take you out of your caregiving situation, but we can give you a break.
Oh, that's
And if you get a
awesome.
break, you
Yes.
can make it.
Awesome. That break keeps them from breaking down.
Yes.
I love it. I love it, Janice Williams. I'm loving this because it's so necessary. And it's an idea, it's a dream, it's a vision that people need, but most people would never think to do it. So let's talk about how you got started. I heard you mention earlier that your father needed care.
Yes. And he needed care, and my dad was so independent.
Okay, I
He
understand that.
loved doing for himself.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I tell the story often of when he loved to cook breakfast.
Okay.
So I would call him and I say, Dad, what you eating for breakfast? And he would just go into elaborate, I'm doing eggs, I'm doing this,
Mhm.
and I'm doing that. And I was like, okay. And then one day, something told me to get up and go check on him.
Okay.
And so when I got there, he was eating this elaborate breakfast, but he was eating it in his bed out of the pot because he really didn't have strength to
Oh,
fix it
wow.
properly. And ever since then, I started moving in his space
Yes.
in a way which was kind of hard because he was very independent.
Right.
But I started paying more attention.
Okay.
I started offering my help even when
Yes.
he said no.
Right.
And after then, Hot Chocolate, he just went down. Every
Wow.
month he needed
A little
something
bit
different.
more help.
Yes.
Wow. And so how long did you assist him before this vision began to birth through you?
About a year.
Okay.
And I often tell people if he had lived, well, after that year he passed.
Okay.
And I often tell people if he had lived, then I wouldn't be doing Caregivers Respite. I would be taking care of him.
To him.
Yes.
Wow. You know, all things really do work together for the good.
Yes.
And one thing I know is that you really do love the Lord.
Yes.
So every little bit of your looking after him and even being in nursing yourself, it's amazing how God connects the dots.
Yes.
And you guys who are watching us, I want to encourage you, because sometimes God's connecting dots in such a fine way, you'll miss it if you're not paying attention. And one thing I can say about Janice Williams, she pays attention to God through prayer. Hint to the wise, okay? And when you pray and the time you spent with God, he began to give you insight as to how you needed help, perhaps? And the vision was birthed? Was it through your caring for your father?
It was through caring for my father. And even though I was a nurse
Mhm.
and had been nursing,
Yes.
I never paid attention to the caregiver. You know, when I would go to the hospital and work, and I would come in the person's room and give their medicines, there's the caregivers helping me give the person the medicine. And then I get off work, go home, go to sleep, and come back the next night, they still there.
Wow.
And so caregiving
Yes.
is something that really doesn't, you don't get a break.
It's ongoing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it was really, I was a nurse, but I never paid attention. But this experience took me out of nurse role and put me into caregiving role,
Wow.
which was totally different.
Wow.
And it was born out of pain,
yes.
because family caregivers go through so many things. And as I mentioned before, he went through so many levels of care.
Yes.
That means every month we were facing something different.
Absolutely.
And-
Absolutely.
And the pain of it, I still feel today.
Yes. You know, it's amazing how dots really do connect, because even though as a nurse, you were not necessarily a caregiver to a family member, but you've attended to people, yeah, and to their needs. And at the right time, because we know that God deals in time, he allowed that to transcend and kind of flow in an unusual way into assisting your father. And you used your nursing skills, I'm sure, on some levels in attending to him, but you became not just a nurse to the world, but a caregiver, a family member looking after a father. And from that, you needed help and turned that need into blessing other people.
Yes.
And how long have you all had Caregivers Respite now?
We started in 2010 on November the 8th.
Wow.
So we're headed into our 8th year.
Oh, that's awesome. That
Yeah.
is absolutely, absolutely awesome. And we're going to talk some more about that in just a few moments. But I just commend you for even opening your eyes, opening your ears, and then opening your spirit so that God could speak to you and you understood at some point it just wasn't about you being tired, that there were a whole lot of other people, and perhaps some watching us even at this moment, who are feeling, I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired, she's talking to me. How do we get in touch with her? Let's give your website before we take a brief break.
Well, it's www.caregiversrespite.org.
www.caregiversrespite.org, and respite is RESPITE.org. So we're excited, and we're just so glad, as always, to have guests like Janice, who've had a vision, who had a few stumbling blocks, because we all do, and we're going to talk more about those stumbling blocks when we come back. But I want to encourage you all to invest in time and prayer and find out what God is saying to you. Maybe your greatest trouble is about to become your greatest triumph. And I think that's what we're seeing through Janice, even at this moment. And I also want to encourage you, if you're needing a vacation, rest, rescue, as a caregiver, please, please remember caregiversrespite.org, because this may be your moment to just exhale. We all need it, especially when we're attending to other loved ones. I'm so glad that you have tuned in. We're about to take a break, but I am Hot Chocolate all over the world. Glad to be in your world. Please stay with us.
patience. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
TTEN.
Thank you for coming back to us. Again, I am Hot Chocolate all over the world. Glad to be in your world. Glad to be talking about caregivers respite. If you're just tuning in, my guest today, Janice Williams, and she is an amazing person doing something absolutely amazing with rescuing caregivers who attend to their family members. And Janice is going to tell us about the ups and downs in starting something that was a bit unique, I'm sure, to most people. Tell us about that. Tell us something about, a little bit. We love that juicy stuff about the valleys and the mountains and the challenges, because a lot of people watching, they're facing that in their next major move. Tell us some of the challenges you faced with something so unique.
Well, it's so interesting that you said that, because you really reminded me that there were several challenges.
Yes.
And one of the challenges was doubt in me.
Yes, self-doubt.
Right.
Yes.
And because you know how you want to start something, you want to do something, you want to do what God says, but if you don't see a witness around, it's a bit of a challenge.
Absolutely.
And so I knew God had told me to do this, and I really didn't know where to start. So I toured with it many of days.
Okay. Was it into months?
You know what? I
Weeks?
can't remember, but
It was more than a day.
oh yeah,
More than a day. Because we all look for footprints in the sand, something to guide us along the way. And you kind of had to be your own trailblazer.
I did, because what I did is I got tired of not really doing what God told me to do.
Oh, that's powerful. Oh, wait. You just preached a whole sermon and did an altar call in that moment. Because there are a lot of people watching us who need to be tired of not doing what God has called you to do. This is your moment of change right here. Tell us about that. How did you overcome that moment?
I did it afraid,
I love it. You did it in spite of your fear.
and how I started the organization is with the conference, the
Okay.
Caregivers Rest Conference.
That was your kickoff to it.
Yes, and really, I was just gonna do a conference every year.
Okay.
And so I got on the phone and asked somebody,
Okay.
and I called, and one lady, she hung up on me.
Obstacle?
The next person I called, they grilled me so bad, it made me feel bad.
Mountain? Keep them coming.
And the third person I asked couldn't help me, but they gave me somebody's name who helped me. Not only did they help me, they brought 2 other people.
Wow. That was your moment of opportunity. That was greatness unfolded. And that was God saying, you overcame your no's, which a lot of people need to understand. The no's will be there. And you made it through the no's till you got to a yes. That's awesome. And it was a yes with a multiplication to it.
And to this day, that encouraged me so,
Yes.
because it was God putting his stamp on something
Yes.
that I didn't even really understand.
Wow.
And because I moved forward,
Afraid?
afraid
Yes.
and fragmented,
Yes.
because I didn't put it together, he did,
Right,
as
so-
I moved forward.
Absolutely. So you didn't have all of the answers at first. You didn't know all the right people. You didn't know all the right ways to go. But you trusted God step by step with a conference. And a conference ended up being a full organization.
Yes,
That's powerful.
because now he trusts me.
Yes. Yes. And I'm sure in him trusting you and creating doors, opportunities, because honey, I heard about your conferences. They're not on a small scale. They're done with excellence. They're pointed, they're focused, they're diligently put together, every fine detail. It really is a rescue moment. You know, I'm loving this interview because I'm finding out that not only did God trust you in that he gave you this great vision, and he's showing you how to put it together, even now, 8 years later, the number of new beginnings, but you learned how to trust him. Afraid, rejected on some levels, not knowing which way to go. And tell us what that did for you as far as your confidence level as you began to see, okay, God is with me. Okay, God is making a way for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
It gave me courage to keep going
Yeah.
because normally I would stop.
Yes.
Normally there would be big gaps in productivity in my life.
Right.
And I would even honestly say, a lot of times I would stop.
Okay.
But I thank God for the testimonies that people give me.
Does that like restart you?
Yes.
You know, because
because
a lot of people stop. A lot of people watching us stop, but they stay stuck in the stop. And I need you guys to not be stuck in the stop. Turn the stop into a pause. And sometimes we need to pause.
Yes.
Sometimes we need a comma there. Sometimes we need to regroup, reprogram, refocus. And I'm sure every time you pause, the testimony came.
wow, so many and so encouraging.
Wow.
And that is what really gave me strength
Yes.
to keep trusting God.
Absolutely.
Because when I started hearing that, oh, Janice, you know what? You were with me when I was taking care of so-and-so. You helped me through this. I was like, wow, did I?
That's powerful.
And I never knew. That's the reason why when you do something,
Mhm.
you can never compare it to someone else.
Oh, that's powerful. Because see, Janice, a lot of people stop. And that's what gets a lot of people stuck is the comparison
Yes.
demon is what I want to call it.
Yes.
And that can cause you not only to stop, it can cause you to take on someone else's vision
Yes.
that was never yours.
Yes.
But your testimonies, because you are a trailblazer. Anytime
Wow.
you can start something like Caregivers Respite based on your own need with your father and caring for him, and then bring it to a point of a conference because you heard from heaven, and then understand with the conference at a certain point that, hey, God wants this to unfold into something ongoing. And then come the testimony. See, we want the testimonies first. Who am I helping? Who likes this? Who believes
Oh,
in this?
wow.
But
Yes.
you were able to go in fear, not in spite of fear, but you took the fear with you. And God was greater than your fear. He helped you overcome everything. And the manifested fruit lives are being changed because you're still in that moment. That's awesome. Thank you for letting me tell your story. I feel like I just told your whole story.
Well,
But, you know, people listening, they want to know the how-to. Because people are stuck in, I have a vision, I think I have a vision, how do I execute? Did you have people to pour into you at any point during your vision?
actually, the person that third person
Yes.
that directed me to the fourth person,
Yes.
they brought two more people.
Mm-hmm.
They still attend the conference today.
Wow.
They have helped me in so many different ways
Awesome.
be challenged to be more excellent.
Yes.
And even now, that's my flow, to be excellent.
That's awesome.
But when I see them, I always think, hey, I need to raise the bar.
Yes.
Because not only in business, but for God's people.
Absolutely. And you know, excellence is something that heaven absolutely applauds. We serve an excellent God. And he wants us to, as you say, raise the bar. So would you say that person was a solid mentor? Because a mentor challenges us to greatness.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say most definitely.
Awesome.
And they're still there, even though they don't play the same role.
Okay.
I hear them.
Yeah. And that's an important thing to know, that when we have a vision, sometimes people, their roles will change because seasons change, but we're still able to receive what we need and how we need it in that season, the way that we need it in that season. So I'm so proud of you. Can I just put all the hot chocolate down and the TV show down, and let me just sit here like it's just me and you, girl. And let me just say, I've known you for probably 20 years.
Yes.
Wow, time has gone by. I've gotten younger, and I've known you 20 years. But at 47 years old, that's the age I am today, I can say with all honesty, I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud to see you walk in
Wow.
what God's in spite of.
Yes.
I'm proud to see you walk in what God has called you to.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and there's so many more things God has called you into, and I believe that this Caregiver's Respite is your way into everything else.
Yes,
So thank you.
thank you.
Because see, you care for me in a lot of situations. So God was preparing you even then.
Yes,
How about that? So I'm so excited about your success.
thank you.
Yes, absolutely. You're the founder, you're the director. I want to say CEO, that may not be the appropriate term, but I think you are in more ways than one.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm proud of you. And I'm proud of those of you all who've been watching us. Because guess what? That means that even though God gave Janice the vision for Caregivers Respite, there's a vision resting in you. There's somebody who needs what God has given you. There are so many people, so many hundreds of thousands, if not millions, I would say more so millions, who need Janice and what God has placed in her. You don't know how many people need you. Janice was afraid. She did it anyway. Janice had opposition. She did it anyway. Janice didn't know which way to go, but she did it anyway. So what is my challenge to each one of you? Yeah, do it anyway. Find out what God is saying. Do it anyway. Pray your way through it. Forge through in spite of the obstacles. Janice didn't have a huge support system. You may say, well, Hot Chocolate is just me. That's all right. You and God, as we hear, is you are the majority. God is your majority, is what I'm really trying to say. Join him. He owns the whole world. And you are on God's mind. Your greatness is so important to God, you're still here. Nothing could take you out because your greatness is so connected to your purpose. With your purpose, you get to operate in your destiny. I believe in you, and so does God. I am Hot Chocolate all over the world, motivating you to your next levels. Janice did it, you can do it. And I really need you guys to hear this. Caregivers Respite is here to rescue a lot of you all. Please go to Caregivers Respite, RESPITE.org. Go there, get the information you need to join forces with Janice, because a lot of you all are tending to loved ones and you're just overwhelmed, exhausted, and don't know what to do next. This show was for you on so many levels. I am Hot Chocolate, Lord have mercy, all over the world. I'm glad to be in your world, inspiring you to your greatness. Until next time, I can't wait for you to come back here for us to do this all over again. Have a great one, because you are God's greatness.